that subscribe button and also drop me a like on this video. So today's video is going to be, I'm going to talk through my first week back on Weight Watchers. So as many of you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I did Weight Watchers last year. I did Weight Watcher Freestyle, which is now called the Blue Plan. And I lost 3 stone, which was really, really good. I was so proud of myself. But unfortunately, things started to unravel and I did put most of that weight back on. I would say I probably put on between 1.5 stone to possibly 2 stone, which is really, really bad to admit. So at the start of this year, I sort of said to myself, enough is enough. I'm going to get back on track. I'm really going to smash it and I really want to lose the weight. And my aim was the end of this year. So at the start of the year I did that, and then we've had this lockdown situation sort of the last 6 weeks or so, and I've put some weight back on again and I've just found it so difficult to stay back on track. So altogether now I'd probably say I've lost about 2 stone, which is still really, really amazing from my starting journey. So I do still have quite a long way to go. I want to lose about 6 or 7 stone. That is a substantial amount of weight. It is a big challenge ahead of me, but I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. So I just really look forward to losing the weight and going on this Weight Watcher journey. So I'm going to talk about today about what my first week has been like back on Weight Watchers. So it has been really different from the times that I've done it before. So my plan is, if you didn't know already, I'm on the Purple Plan and I get 26 dailies and I get 46 weeklies. So I do get quite a lot of points, and then I also have 300 free foods which I can go into, which is any sort of your fruit and your veg. I think there are a few exceptions to that. You do get other stuff for free as well. You get eggs, which are free, you don't have to point them, chicken, and some of your whole grain pasta, your whole wheat pasta and things like that. So for me, I went on it, as I said in my previous video, because I love potatoes and it's just the perfect plan for me is purple. So I've started up again this week. My weigh day is on a Sunday, so I am actually filming this after I've weighed myself, but I've not sort of had the time to get a chance to sit down and do this video. So I will tell you my weight loss at the end of the video, because I want to talk about how my week's gone, what I've had, and how I found sort of getting my mindset back into Weight Watchers. So first of all, I'm going to say about what I had to eat this week. So you do know one of my days, because I actually did a sort of vlog style video where I talk through what I had on one of my days as a fussy eater on Weight Watchers. So if you haven't already, please do check that video out. I'll pop it up here so you can click on it straight away. But I really hope that if you have watched it, you really enjoyed that day in the life of what it's like being a fussy eater. So I'll start with breakfasts. So most of my breakfast this week, I am sort of a boring sort of person. I tend to stick to the same breakfasts every single day. I do try and mix it up. I mix it up now between 2 different sorts of breakfast. So one day I'll have some toast, and as you've probably seen in my previous video, I have the Aldi seeded loaf, and it's quite a small loaf. I think it's about this sort of size. It's not a very big loaf, but it is really tasty, and it's 3 points for 1 slice, or it's 2 slices for 5 points. So it's quite low in points, considering other breads quite more in points. So I have 2 slices of that with some butter. And then the other selection that I have for breakfast is I will either have a yoghurt. Now I do change that up. I have 2 different yoghurts. So I either have the Aldi version of the Muller Light yogurts. So I have the vanilla flavour. I am a boring person. I don't tend to steer away from vanilla. I love vanilla yogurts, and it's just a plain yogurt that I really, really enjoy. But if I don't have a vanilla yogurt, I will have a fake version of a Muller rice yogurt. So I buy these in Aldi. I believe the maker's called Broccoli. They are really, really tasty. And the vanilla yogurt is 3 points, and the Muller one, the rice one, is 4 points. Now, I believe it's 4 points because when I scan it on the app, it comes up that other users have put it in at 4 points. But when you have the actual designer, as I call it, the Muller version, it is 8 points. So I'm not really sure if it is definitely 4 points, but that is what others record it on the app, and it's delicious. So if it is 4 points, it's worth every single bite. It's just like having rice pudding, and I absolutely love rice pudding. And it's not really something that you can have on Weight Watchers because it's quite fattening. So for 4 points, I get those, and they fill me up at breakfast time, fill me up for a few hours. So yeah, so quite a boring person. I tend to stick to the same sort of breakfasts, but I either have a yoghurt or I have toast. When I was back at work a few weeks ago, I used to have apple as well. Since I've been in the lockdown, I've sort of gone off apple a little bit. I think because I was having it so much, I sort of got bored of the taste of it and I started to dislike it a little bit. When I do go back to work, I'm sure that I will get back on it and I will start with the apple again. As they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I think I'll try that. So yes, that's it for my breakfasts really. So for my lunches, they are a little bit more exciting. As you can see in my previous video where I did a vlog, day in the life of a fussy eater, I had pizza waffles. If you haven't tried them already, please try them. I actually showed you how to make them in my previous video. They're just delicious. And I think it worked out, mine were 11 points and I just had cheese on mine. And my fiance, he had pepperoni on his and it worked out at 14 points. I know if you've only got sort of 20 to 25 points, 11 to 14 points is half of your day. But if you were to have something a little less on the evening, something that was a free meal that had no points or only a few points, it would be worthwhile to have that sort of treat at lunchtime and use those points up. And it is delicious. And I found out that you can cook waffles in the toaster and it tastes amazing. Definitely would recommend it. But definitely that's how I'm going to cook them from now on, I think. But yeah, so that's one of my lunches that I had in the week. Thinking about other lunches, I also had things like fish finger Weight Watcher wrap. So I just had 2 fish fingers, which are the Northern Catch ones from Aldi. 2 of them was 2 points, which I think is really good for 2 fish fingers. And then the Weight Watcher wrap was 3 points, so you're looking at 5 points for a wrap. Absolutely delicious as well. Would recommend having a fish finger wrap. I do find that they're not too filling, so I tend to have mine also with a pack of crisps. I have a pack of Teddy Faces at 3 points, or have a bag of Quavers for 3 points, or Skips for 2 points. And it just fills me over until dinner time. So that's sort of the lunches that I had. I did have a few other lunches, some random ones. I did have one day I just fancied a sausage sandwich. And I think when you have a craving, you have got to eat that craving. So I buy the reduced fat sausages from Aldi. And they're only, I think they're 40 or 50% less fat. They come in a blue packet. And they're in the chilled section when you go in. And it's 2 points per sausage, which I think is really good because most sausages that you find are sort of 3 or 4 points per sausage, and that's quite a lot if you want a sausage sandwich. So these ones in Aldi, they're 2 points per sausage. They taste so nice, and I had them in the Aldi seeded bread. So that you're sort of looking at 9 points. I did also have an egg in mine as well. Now, I know I actually had a fried egg, and I know most people log a fried egg as 3 points if it's cooked in oil, I believe. But I actually cooked mine in the Fry Light 1 calorie spray, the Aldi's version of it. And it turned out really nice, and I classed that as no points because I didn't cook it in that sort of oil. I only used the 1 calorie spray. I know a lot of people say that they don't use the 1 calorie spray because it can wreck the bottom of your pan. But I think for me, it's about getting the temperature right. I always tend to have it on sort of medium temperature. And I also have one of those egg template things. So it's like a little round thing and it makes it circular. I don't know what they're called. But you put it in this contraption. I really don't know what it's called. It's a round thing that makes your egg round. And then I smash my egg in and then I just cook it with the Fry Light, and I class it as free. So that on that one day I had a sausage and an egg sandwich, and it was 9 points, which for me, I have 26 points, so it is sort of half of my day's points, but it filled me up until dinner time, and it was really enjoyable, and I thought it was quite good for the points that it was. So those are sort of some of the lunches that I had this week. Now going on to dinner time, I had a lot of what they would call fakeaways. I'm not sure if that is a Weight Watchers thing, because I think that is a Slim and Will thing where they call it a fakeaway. Oh, we're taking it over now, Weight Watchers. I had a fakeaway. So as you see in my video that I did the other day, where it was Day in the Life of a Fussy Eater, I actually made burger and chips. It was delicious. I can't even describe how nice it was. So all I did was I got some, well, you can see how I made it on my previous video, which I linked before. I will also leave a link in the description box below, so you can go straight to the video after if you haven't seen it already. So all I did was I got these burgers from Aldi, and they were 3 points each, or 2 for 5 points. Really, really good for a burger. And then I had 2 sandwich thins, which were 3 points each. So I know that is quite a lot for 2 sandwich thins, but I felt like having a little bit of a cheat that night, and I did roll over, I believe, something like 4 points into my weeklies. It was worth every bite though, and it was so delicious to have a burger. Burgers are my favourite meal, and it was so delicious. And I tend to buy, you know, the stringy cheese. I think it's like a plastic cheese. They usually use it in like McDonald's, or if you go to a fast food restaurant, they have like this sort of cheese, like plasticky sort of cheese. I get the reduced fat ones from Tesco. They're £1, and I think you get a pack of 10. So I had one of those, and they're 1 point each. And then I did homemade chips. So I just chopped some potatoes up, put them in my air fryer, and I class them as free because potatoes are free on the Purple Plan. I will say with the Purple Plan, you have to be very disciplined, because if you have too much potatoes or too much carbs, too much of the free foods, you can sort of not lose weight and be really disheartened. That's how I found it when I started it at the start of this year. And it's all about that self-discipline and self-control, and you have to limit yourself on those free foods. So I did only do 3 potatoes when I did the homemade chips, which works out as about 1.5 potatoes. I had it with me and my fiance. So 1.5 potatoes I think is quite reasonable for portion control, and it made quite a lot of chips. I was quite surprised actually. So that's another dinner that I had. I had lots of other things as well. I will rave about something. Now, Weight Watchers, they have been listening to me on the Connect app. I've been saying for about a year that I really wanted them to bring out the Weight Watcher chicken curry, the ready meal. So this is something you can buy in the freezer section at the supermarkets where you used to be able to. And for some reason, they stopped selling it about 1.5 years ago. And that was how I lost all of my weight previously a few years ago. And I used to have it majority of the nights. I found it really delicious because I don't like quite a lot of the Weight Watcher ready meals. So when they got rid of it, it broke my heart. I was so disappointed. I really love the product, and I really wanted to have it whilst I was doing my journey now. So I kept complaining on the app to the coach person that you get on the app, and I said, please bring it back out again. I love them. Please bring them out again. And it's like a God heard me or something, because they have started selling them again. So they sell them in Heron Foods for definite. I think they're 2 for £3, which is quite reasonable for Weight Watchers product. And they have other ready meals as well. They have like like beef hot pot. They have like a lasagna and a penne bolognese. So Heron Foods. I've recently purchased them in Asda as well. They do them. I have also seen them in Morrison's, and it was quite a small Morrison's that I went to and saw that they had them. So if you're really interested in checking what the Weight Watcher chicken curries are like, you can get them in those sort of areas, so those supermarkets. So I tend to have those as well. I stock up on them. It's really weird because when I went to Heron Foods, the first time I discovered that they were back, I went all the way to Heron Foods, which it's about 20 minutes from where I live. And me and my fiance went in, and they only had 2 in the freezer. And I was so disappointed. I wanted to stock up. Like, I'm not usually a person to stock up, but I love them that much. I wanted to get every single one they had in the shop. I wanted to stock up so I didn't have to go out again for a while. So they only had 2. So we asked the lady in the shop if they had more out the back. And so she asked us how many I wanted. And I said, can we have another 4? And you should have seen her face. She looked at me as if I was a freak. She just looked at me as if to say, 4? Like, what? And then I got to the till and I had so she went and got them, and I went to the till and I had 6 chicken curries, and the man at the till, he also was like, oh, you like your chicken curry? Oh, it's so embarrassing, but they're so delicious. Like, I can't say enough about them. They are delicious. They used to be 9 points. And it does say on the box that they're 9 points. But when you scan it on the app, it now says 8 points. So I usually go for the 8-point one because it's 1 less point. That's 1 point you can have, like a Weight Watcher bourbon or something. Every point matters. So that's tended to be another dinner that I've had this week. I've also had gammon and jacket potato. Gammon is only 3 points, the one that I get from Aldi. It's just like a small round, it's not very big. And then I have a baked potato, which is free. So I have lots of different things, and I found it quite good this week. I found it to be really motivational, and my first week back has been interesting. I think as well, because we're in this lockdown at the moment, going back on track whilst in lockdown can be really difficult. And I must say this to everybody, if you're really struggling at the moment with lockdown, you just need to sort of sit back and say to yourself, what is your end goal and how can you stay motivated? So a few things that I've done to stay motivated whilst I've been in lockdown, some sort of wacky ones. So I've printed some photos recently, and I went back through my laptop and looked at sort of old pictures from when I was younger, when I used to be at my slimmest. I think I was something like a size 16. I think I was like between a 16 and an 18, which I guess some people would argue that that's still quite big. For me, that is slim. So at the moment I'm about 22, 24. So when I was a size 18, I had lots of pictures when I went out clubbing and things like that. So I've actually printed one of those pictures out. And I've also printed out a picture of when I was at my heaviest. So I was at my heaviest a couple of years ago. I think I was something like just under 23 stone, which is quite big. You can see why I have quite a big journey to go on. So at my biggest, I was nearly 23 stone, just under. So I printed out a picture of me at my biggest. And what I've done when it came is I've actually put them on my fridge. So I've put a picture of what I looked like when I was at my slimmest, when I was a size 16 to 18. I can't really remember what I weighed at that point because I wasn't too bothered about my weight. And then I've put another picture next to it on my fridge of me at my heaviest. So every time I feel hungry or I want a snack and I go to the fridge, I have to look at these 2 pictures. And I know that may seem a wacky way to motivate yourself, but for me, having a visual and going to the fridge and looking at this picture where I feel I look disgusting and where I feel like I look really, really good, I think to myself when I want to go and get a snack, now which one do I want to look at? Which one do I want to be? And I do not want to be back at the biggest. So for me, it's really motivating, and most of the time it makes me go away from the fridge. So if that's something that you could do, please let me know if that's something that you think is a good idea and it's something that you might do, is put some pictures on your fridge, or it's just me being a bit weird. Some other things that have kept me motivated, I think, is not setting unrealistic goals. So I've been setting myself little goals. So this week I've actually set myself a challenge for this week ahead, where I'm going to do what's called the blue dot challenge. I'm not sure if that's actually what it's called, but people on my social media seem to think that's what it's called. So it's where you're tracking on the app and you have your blue dots when you've stayed within your points. And I'm going to try and get it every single day this week. I'm going to smash it this week. And I think setting a small target just for the week ahead is really important, because sometimes your goals can be so far away. I mean, for me personally, I want to lose between 6 and 7 stone. And to keep motivated in lockdown, thinking, oh, I've still got another 6 or 7 stone, it can be really demotivating. And it's important that you set yourself little goals and that you achieve those little goals. And every time that you do achieve those goals, say it's only a little goal, say, oh, next week or in a couple of weeks I want to lose £5. And that's an achievable, realistic goal. And then you can treat yourself. So say, for example, you set yourself a goal, I want to lose a stone in a month. It can be done. I think it is realistic. I think lots of people have lost a stone in a month. But say you set yourself that target, have a treat when you've lost a stone. So say, oh, when I've lost a stone, I'm going to have a McDonald's, or I'm going to have a Nando's or pizza. I mean, I know at the moment it can be hard for those things. I mean, McDonald's isn't even open at the moment. But in a month's time, hopefully we'll be in a better place. And you've just got to think, we are going to come out of the lockdown and we are going to get back to that place of normality. And just set yourself little goals. Like, you could even say, like, if I lose £3 next week, I'm going to have a chocolate bar. It can be little goals, and it's got to be achievable goals. Because like I said, for me, sometimes I think, oh, I've got so far to go. I've got to lose 6 or 7 stone. It's impossible. How am I going to stay motivated? I think for a lot of people as well, sometimes it's good to take a break, especially at the moment with everything that's going on in the world. There are more important things happening at the moment than losing weight. If you feel that it isn't the right time for you at the moment, then take the time off that you need. Because if you carry on and it's not the time for you, you're not going to achieve your goals, because you're just going to keep going off track because something's happened, or you've had a bad day, or there's stuff going on. And then you're just going to yo-yo diet. So take the time off you need if you need it. And even if you go and put a stone back on like I did, I've come back on track and I'm ready to smash it out the bag now. And I'm so glad that I did have that break, because I enjoyed food for a little bit, and I did things that I didn't do on Weight Watchers, and I needed that break to get me back on track. So don't feel like you can't have those breaks, because you can. And it's really important to do what you feel is best on your weight loss journey. So it has been for me. I have found I've been quite motivated this week by having the pictures on my fridge. Really weird, but it does work. You could even write yourself a note in the fridge, like, go away, do not eat me. There's so many things that you can do to stay motivated, but just think, don't think too much about your end goal. Think about your goal in a month's time. Where are you going to be in a month's time? What's your goal? Because guaranteed in a month's time, if you've achieved your goal, you'll be like, if I didn't set myself that little goal, I wouldn't have been here where I am now. So I think it's so important. If you need to have those fridge notes or those fridge pictures, do it. It will motivate you. It really will. It motivated me, and I didn't think that it would motivate me, to be honest. So I'm going to go on to now my results, what I lost my first week back on Weight Watchers. Now, there are two sort of things I have about this, because I am happy with how much I did lose, but on the other hand, I'm a bit like, well, it's my first week back on track, I should have lost more. So this week I lost £2. Now, I'm actually really happy with that result. £2 is amazing. I mean, they recommend sort of like these health officials that you should lose between £1 and £2 a week. So the fact that I've achieved the highest end of that and lost the £2, I am really happy with myself. I think that's such an amazing achievement. So yeah, so I've lost £2. So I am happy with that. However, I think I am a little bit disheartened in the sense that some people on their first week, they can lose anything up to a stone off. Some people lose. But then I think most people, that they're not used to sort of having been on a diet before, and they've lost a lot of water. So they haven't actually lost weight, they've lost water. And if you're in the same situation as me and you do feel disheartened that you've not lost much this week, on your first week or your second week or even your first month, you've got to compare yourself and say, well, they've probably never dieted before, and this is my first time diet. This is not my first time dieting. So you should be happy with yourself. I think for me, my motto is a loss is a loss. So say 1 week, if you only lost a quarter of a pound, it's still a loss. You should be really happy that you've achieved that. I think if you're to go too disheartened, and then if you say you only lose half a pound and you get really disheartened about it, you're more likely to snack on foods and then not lose the next week. And I just think if you kept on track, what could you lose the week after if you hadn't have had that Mars bar or that Twix or that bag of Maltesers? So it's so important that, like you said, as I said before, like, set little goals to yourself and don't be too disheartened when you lose little amounts. So I am really happy with £2. I think that's amazing on my first week back on track, and I am proud of myself. I will say I only used about 4 of my weeklies, so I didn't use many weeklies at all, mainly stuck to my daily points. But yeah, so I found my first week back on Weight Watchers really, really good, and I would definitely recommend Weight Watchers to anybody who wants to go on a weight loss journey. I think Weight Watchers is not just about weight as well, it's about healthy mind, healthy body. It encourages you to go out, get some fresh air, some exercise, and it encourages your mental health as well. And I think that's really important in the time that we're in at the moment, to get mental health. I think it's really important. So using like the app, that they've got so many features. I think they've got something like mindfulness where you can listen to like podcasts and listen to talking and stuff about improving your mental health, and I think that's really important on a weight loss journey. So I would definitely recommend Weight Watchers to anybody that is thinking, do I try it? Definitely just go for it. Don't think about it, just go for it, and you will absolutely smash it. I know you will. So that's my update for this week. So I hope you liked and enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, and also please do subscribe to my channel for future videos. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.